Welcome to my channel and welcome to this video, which is another Inktense video. In this video you will see me making this small little sketch with Inktense paint pens and Inktense pencils. The set of pencils that you see me using here is the set of 24 that I've curated for autumn. So if you haven't seen that video where I show you which colors I've chosen here, I will have that linked in the description, so you can watch that one next. This was a really nice afternoon sketching session that I had on my balcony, so a bit different setup from my usual one. And I was having my little dog friend next to me, Bella, and she was constantly asking for belly rubs. If you have a dog friend, you know what I'm talking about. So a very awkward angles and not super ergonomic way of painting, but I had a lot of fun and it was really relaxing. I was using a reference picture that I think I found already a while ago and saved on my phone, and I think it had that wonderful, a bit autumnal feeling, exactly like we have in the weather at the moment. So even though it is still summer months, it's August, but we can already sense a hint of autumn in the air, and I think this picture had the kind of same feeling to it. There were also some random flowers, flowers dropping from the flower benches, so that's where the little pink flower came from in the middle of my painting session. I started as usual by adding the first layer of color, so color blocking different areas on the page of my sketchbook. And the sketchbook I'm using here is my trusted Hahnemühle sketchbook. And I was using the Inktense paint pens for this first layer of color. I think this is a wonderful selection of colors, and this is, I think, the largest Inktense paint pen set that there is, and I just love to use this. I think you can mix some really amazing colors with the selection of colors that are included, and it is super easy to mute the colors down by adding a bit of Payne's gray or black or white. So that's what I did. I used it as the initial first layer of color. After that, I started to use the pencils to add some details, especially trees and branches and grass. So as said, this is a very simple reference image. It's very, I'd say, relaxing little painting process. It took me about 30 minutes, I think, give or take 30 minutes to complete this page. And this is exactly the kind of sketching session I love to have if ever I have an afternoon off and I have some extra time in my hands. It's just very much fun to take a reference photo or choose a reference photo that I've selected earlier and just see what inspires me that day and then decide which mediums to use. I continue to be very happy with this selection of 24 Inktense pencils. I think this set is just perfect for the more autumnal season and the months we have ahead. And I didn't really feel that any colors were missing in this when drawing this landscape either. So very nice selection of colors. Although I feel that I'm always using the same colors, so I might have to challenge myself and choose a bit of different topic at some point. Maybe some mushrooms or leaves or something that isn't just landscape with yellows and greens and browns. But that being said, I really enjoyed this color selection and it was so much fun to mix the colors on the page. For me, what works best with Inktense pencils is this kind of constant layering and mixing colors on page and adding details. I really love how well these layer, and I also really enjoy how you can create very interesting textures by activating just parts of the pigment. So that's the technique you will see me using here, for example, in the kind of distant forest, that I add lots of colors, I mix them on paper, but I'm not activating all the pigments, so I'm leaving some pencil marks there, and I think that that's just the beauty of water-soluble pencils, that you can use them in so many different ways and create a texture on the paper and interesting details. In the end, you can see that I'm actually not using that many pencils, so I was able to get away with using only a few of them. And some of the first layers I actually didn't add anything on, so the sky was left as it is, and the kind of very distant hills and forests there, I didn't add any color on top of that either. So I just wanted to give that impression of kind of perspective, that there are some things that are in the distance, there isn't any details to it, and then there are those parts of the picture which are closer to me or the viewer. And of course, this is the basic thing whenever drawing or painting, that you use the more kind of cool tones in the background and then more warmer tones in the front, and also the closer it gets to you, then you add more details. I was really happy with how the colors were mixing on the paper, and you can see that there are, as said, I'm not using that many colors, but you can get so many different tones and different mixes and shades by mixing them on the page. So mix as you go. And this is why I often say that you don't necessarily need the paint pens. I just like to use them as a quick first layer very often, but you could get away with using just the pencils. And in one of my previous videos, I actually did draw a landscape using just the pencils and showing you how to add the first layer of kind of blocking the first layer of color with the Inktense pencils. So as said, if you haven't seen that video yet, it is linked in the description, and you can take a look at that after this one. As always, I struggled a bit with the tree. I really need to practice painting trees and drawing trees. It's always a bit of a struggle for me. They are so complex. But then in the end, I decided that I'm just gonna have fun, and I don't really care if it looks realistic or looks like in the reference picture. I just wanted to be creative and create something fun and have a relaxing sketching session. So that's what I did, and in the end I was actually very happy with the end result. I tend to be very critical when it comes to my own art, but usually then in the end, or like next day when I take a look at a piece that I've painted or drawn, then I feel pretty good about that. So I don't know why we are always, I think many of us maybe you can share the feeling as well, that many of us, we are very critical about our own art, and there is just something that you see it in your mind what you want to create, and then when it doesn't really transfer to the paper, then you feel that it's a failure, but actually it's not. And I was super happy with this tree and with this whole page in the end. I don't often paint outdoors. I mean, I do like to paint plein air every now and then, especially if I go hiking somewhere or take a day trip somewhere nice, but very often I just sit by my desk in my studio room, and that's where I do the drawing and the painting. And this one afternoon in the balcony actually reminded me how much fun it is to paint outdoors, even though it's only in my balcony. It wasn't so hard, it wasn't a long way to go. It only took me a minute to take all my painting and drawing stuff and set that blanket and sit there and paint. am adding some final details to the picture, and yeah, as said, I enjoyed this so much. It was very relaxing, a lot of fun, and in the end even my dog friend she even started to sleep, so we were having a wonderful afternoon in the balcony just drawing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I have lots of fun, season appropriate, bit more autumnal videos coming your way soon, and let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, and if you'd like to see something similar also in the future. I would love to hear also what you are currently working on, if you've been painting or drawing, or what kind of mediums you've been using and enjoying lately. So please share in the comments, I'd be happy to hear that. I hope to see you soon in my next video, and until then I hope that you will have lots of inspiring art sessions and artist dates with yourself. Bye for now.